13.5 Initialization and assigning array. Now, with the same type of elements, we can build an array. Same type. All elements should belong to same type. Here you see, just I want to give you few examples. Month, days. Month, days, 12. Actually, there are 12 months. Each month is having a unique maximum number of days. So, int month days 12. Now we are building an array with the maximum days of all the calendar months like January, February, March, April, etc. and all that. One array we declared like this: float price 20. What do you mean by that? Now we are building an array with 20 elements, 20 prices of different items. 20 prices. Price means it's a float. So, a floating point array we defined. Next, char name. Char name actually 10. With 10 elements, one character array we can define. Actually, character array is having certain limitations, and if you want to use a string oriented library, string.h, then on character array it cannot function, and that's why instead of character array, string is created. String is also a character array which is terminated by null character, which we discuss in the next chapter. So actually here you can understand that this array, name array, is having 10 elements. Each element is a character. That extent is enough. And next one, long tell number 10. Now with 10 telephone numbers you are defining an array. Actually it's defined because you know that it is having 10 digits. So that's why we are taking a long. Now we see this is integer array, this is floating point array, this is a character array, this is a long array. So one thing you must remember, here size is not the limitation. Any size you may define with 12 elements or 20 elements or 100 elements. It is not the limitation. All the elements stored in an array should belong to same type. So we can call them as integer type, int array, float array, char array, and long array. Next, not only declaring a variable, an array, we can initialize it also. Like variables, how we are declaring int age, and at the same time, if you want to initialize, you can initialize, or subsequently you can assign also. In the same manner, it is array is the extension of any variable. Array variable is a single element, single data item. Variable stores a single data item, and array stores collection of data items. Now, if you see, now int age 5. 5 elements I want to store, 5 ages I want to store. If I want to initialize, I can initialize them as 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, like this. Here I put in an ascending order. This is not compulsory. You can put same any order. This is a unordered list, so I can put it like this: 20, 15, 16, 19, 18. So you understand that it is every array is an unordered list. If you want to initialize, this is the syntax. This is the syntax, and within braces, by separating commas, you can give the values. Then, in such case, what happens? Now, one block of memory is allocated. What is the size of this? 5 into 2, as it is integer, 10 bytes of memory. Each one is called element, and here 20, 15, 16, 19, 18, and how can we access this? its name is age, entire block name is age, and it is age 0, age 1, age 2, age 3, age 4. Here always you remember it is a commonly a beginner programmer commits an error like this. While declaring, it should be declared with the number of elements like 5. And for accessing the last element, age 4, if you write age 5 means you are crossing the boundary. That means you are referring the sixth element which is not there. You must always understand this point. This is a very important point. And in this manner, array can be initialized. Then all the corresponding values are stored. And in the same way, here one more I have given, one more float weight 3. 3 weights we are storing, 50.1, 51.2, 52.3. Now you see the weights array and age array. You form a mental picture always. One picture, if you incorporate in your brain, you can easily write explanation. You can remember the concept very easily. And here, page number 699, you see all the data. I have given a table, and you should have a clear idea. You should not have any doubt. This is the common error. So this is the size. Size is fixed. It cannot be changed. And while declaring with the total number of elements, we have to declare. While we are accessing, first element is the subscript is 0, age 0. And if you write age 1 means it refers second element. And age 5 means it refers sixth element which is not there. So age 4. So these precautions you must take. And first you know the declaration and initialization of array. Now, I have to draw your attention towards one important point. What is this type? People tell int only, but for the sake of for variable, what you are mentioning, int is, of course, you may initialize or not. Now, here 10, it is it is int. This also you are mentioning as int. In my view, the correct representation is this. Now you can find the differentiation. The variable's type is int. The array's type is integer type array. You mention like that. Actually, most C compilers do not allow. Actually, this is the correct representation. Suppose instead of this, in my view, this is the correct representation. Yes. What is its type? Integer type array of 5 elements. That's the way. But most C compilers do not, C++ compilers also do not allow this type of declaration. But if you go to C# and its family only, in advanced language, it should be mentioned like this only. Now it correctly represents it. Array's name is age. What is its type? Integer type array, and its number of elements are 5. So this is the correct representation. Keep in view. Keep in view. If you mention it like this also, it is syntactically it is not allowed. But whenever you write a picture, the array, its type is integer type array. It is height, its type is floating point array. Like this you write. Then we can show the prima facie difference between an ordinary variable and an array. But this syntax, actually, this type of syntax, C++, most compilers of C++ do not allow. That point you remember. In Java, it is allowed both. You can write it here, you can write it here. But in C#, you must write here only, not here. That point you remember. And here, let us see a program. With this, your knowledge is crystallized on this point. 13.2. 13.2, age 5. 5 ages we are taking and we are initializing. We are initializing. As a result of that, ages are stored like this. Now, we are retrieving all the elements and displaying on the monitor screen. For that, printf statement. Printf statement you are using age 0, age 1, age 2, age 3, age 4. Then all the elements are printed. All the elements 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 are printed. In this way, only one difference you find. If it is a single element, you would have used only age. Now, many elements are there. The corresponding subscript you have to use, starting from 0 to 4. You are able to retrieve everything and display on the monitor screen.